In this video, we're going to discuss 3 ways on how objects can become charged. The 3 ways that objects can become charged are friction, contact/conduct, or induction. Now, in class, we watched the TED Ed video on what static electricity is. It gave many examples of different situations where static electricity is present. Static electricity can become present when there is friction, which is our first way that an object can become charged or can take on electrons. So charging by frictions occurs when objects or substances are rubbed together. And when objects or substances are rubbed together, this creates an energy for the electrons to get excited, and then they start moving. So some electrons will move from one object to the other, and this all depends on the electrostatic or triboelectric series charge. Both of the objects will become charged. So here are some examples. Rubbing balloon on dry hair. So for instance, we've got the human skin or the human body, human hair. Human hair is right here. It looks like it has a weaker tendency to gain the electrons. So in this case, the human's hair is not going to take the electrons from the balloon. The balloon, the rubber balloon, is down here. It has a strong tendency to gain those electrons. So the balloon is more of an insulator. And remember in that little video we watched, the TED Talk video, it has shown us that an insulator holds onto its electrons very tightly, whereas a conductor has its electrons loosely bound to it. So in this case, the human hair acts as a conductor and transfers those electrons to the insulator, which is the balloon. So the electrons get transferred to the balloon. Another great example is clothes in the dryer. This is a very important thing that you should be doing. Take a chance to do some laundry. Put the clothes in the dryer without a dryer sheet and try to pull them out in the wintertime. Turn off the lights, try to pull them out then. And it's very interesting what you find out. Dragging feet on the carpet is another way to charge your body by friction. So when you drag your feet on the carpet, just like we saw in the previous video, you are able to send those electrons into the doorknob, which will then result in a shock because there's a really quick rush of electrons. Air rushing over a car is also another example of charging by friction, as well as gasoline flowing through the car. You have to be very careful when you're filling up gas in a car. Combing hair on a dry day is an example that we're going to explore in depth. Take a look at this. So before combing your hair on a dry day, you've got the hair, which seems to have equal amounts of negative and positive charges. And you have your comb, which hasn't even contacted the hair yet. And it seems to have also an equal amount of positive and negative charges. So remembering from the first PowerPoint that we went through, how to calculate your overall charge, which is the number of protons minus the number of electrons. Remember, it's the number, not the exact charge. That will give you the overall number of protons or the overall number of electrons, which then you can infer whether something is negative or positive. So if I ask you what is the charge on the hair, you should tell me that it is neutral because there's an even number of protons and electrons. Then what's the charge on the comb? It is also neutral. Once you drag the comb through the hair, you get a more positive hair and you get a more negative comb. Now, why is this? So why do the comb and the hair attract to each other? Well, after combing, the comb, which is plastic, an insulator, has taken the electrons. So the insulator grabs onto those electrons and doesn't really let them go. So the comb becomes negatively charged. And when the comb is negatively charged, it has the ability to now attract the positive hair. Now remember, those electrons, only the electrons can move. So the electrons from the hair, they moved to the comb. So how can we determine the charge that develops on each and every object? Well, you have to simply refer back to your triboelectric series or your electrostatic series chart. Watch the next video to begin learning about charging by contact and conduction.